Don't you dare touch me! Stand back! No! No! Don't you dare touch me! Stand back!
We're back, bitches! Loud and local. What's up, Jeff?
Hey man, how's it going?
Not too much. Looking alright, man.
I'm having a good night.
Yeah,
Feel pretty good.
so it's
Flying high. What do you think of this?
I like it.
I like it too.
Pretty cool. I can eat a couple souls to this.
I can fuck bitches to this, man. I like it.
Talk about Rusty Spoon.
Just talk about the sponsors. We know all about them anyway.
We do. I could just talk about them.
Rusty Spur in Vegas.
Man,
Best
they're
hole in the wall bar ever.
It's the best. And they won it in the last 2 years.
Hey man, I'm going to Vegas on my birthday. September. Well, my birthday is September 3rd, but I'm gonna wait till like Monday because it's cheaper to fly. And I'm gonna call them at the Rusty Spur, and that's where I'm gonna have my party.
I like it.
You want to go with me?
Souls there?
You want to go with me, Satan?
Of course I do.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like the rest. Yeah, I want to go there.
Sounds good. But you should have went to Lucy's. Lucy's got some nice food there. They got some greens. I ate some healthy food. I actually ate food for humans. I didn't eat souls. I ate soul food. And it was just good.
I like to have a soul sister at Lucy's. I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, they got like soul rolls and all this other good stuff. But they're pretty dope. Right there on 661 Broadview, somewhere over there on the west side. It's a nice place.
We drove past some when we were like, going to the Comedy Awards. You're like, Jeff, that's where you go to Lucy's.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I did.
That was a good time.
I was thirsty at that time and I wanted to go feed.
I kind of wish when you said it and we drove past it, I kind of wish Lisa would have pulled over and been like, let's get a shot. That would have been fucking great. But anyway, taco pizza at Lucy's.
Taco pizza is good as hell.
They got cute girls there.
They do.
Yeah. Remember I said that I was going to pretend that I'd never ate pussy before and I was going to go to Lucy's and be like, you know, all these years, you know, I'm older now and never got to eat pussy.
It probably work.
Yeah. Yeah, Lucy's is great. So, Satan, you had a good week?
I had a great week. You might have seen that guy Timbuktu at the Comedy Awards.
I did see him at the Comedy Awards. I had the privilege to ride with him and Lisa,
You
cruising
did.
the streets of Cleveland.
It was amazing.
It was fun. And I will say it was my first red carpet affair. And I took a photo with just my foot on the red carpet. I was like, that's so fucking cool. And I wore tennis shoes and ripped jeans because I wanted to represent Loud and Local, you know. But God, that was fucking fun. Satan, I sent you some photos from that. Could you put them up?
Absolutely not. I know what this was.
Yeah, I thought it was my show.
No, it's Loud and Local.
Yeah,
No,
I get it.
give me 1 second.
You know, we have some good guests on the show tonight.
I'm trying to find that plug. There you go.
Yeah, I like that one. Good guess. Not. Doug's just about ready to chime in. He's like, you're right. Your guests suck. Fuck you, Doug. Like to see your show, motherfucker. Everybody was like, Nicole Wyatt's like, Doug, you should do your show. Like, what would you do? He's going to be like, I'm going to do even louder than local. Fucking asshole. So chime in, Doug, you dickhead.
I got something else.
You don't have my foot on the red carpet? I sent to my mom. I was like, look at my foot on the red carpet, Mom. About to walk down the aisle. Lisa's like, look at that little retard. I feel like I was in that me, myself, and Irene moment. I don't know.
No, that's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Remember, she's like, you put it in your own ass.
That little foot.
That is fucking hilarious. I love that part when he loses his mind. There it is. Put on the red carpet. Sent that to mom. She's like, I'm so proud of you. Oh, man. Whatever.
Got some
One of those
better
days.
pictures in here, though.
All right, show me another one. Shane's like, oh, I'm too stoned for that. Oh, that's a nice one. That's one we all posed at the end, right? Remember in front of that weird painting? Dude, the artwork at the Playhouse Square, they redid it. They brought in fucking, I think 13 or 14 different painters, and they did millions of dollars worth of painting. The paintings all new, the carpets all new, all the painting around, all like the they do the doorways and shit like that, all brand new. That whole entranceway, and then you have those drink areas, and then they had that thing set up where they had popcorn. Remember the caramel popcorn?
Oh, it was so fucking cool.
That shit was fucking great. And all those chicks that were there were super cute and hot.
They were pretty hot.
Yeah, that was fun.
They were nicely dressed. It was
Yeah.
too nice for me. I didn't like it. You know, I like my shit a little dirty.
And that's Lisa on the end with me. And Lisa's the Lisa S. She's the GM of Red Light Radio. And she looks super cute in those white pants.
She's amazing. Angel's here too.
Yeah. You guys, you hear the angel? Yeah.
Don't laugh at that guy. He sucks.
So I want to introduce the guys so they could jump in and talk along with us. And I don't want to wait any longer. So we're here with Conniption Fit. And I'm going to have the guys introduce themselves and tell us what part of the band you perform in. So anytime, guys.
Yeah, I'm Mike from Conniption Fit. I play guitar and I do a lot of the clean vocals in the band.
And I'm Watson. I do my best to sing, and I'm pretty good at screaming, and I'm the singer, the main guy.
Nice. So you're the guy who does the shit
Yeah,
like-
what's weird is I
right?
can't do it like just on command. Like I've had my uncle and stuff. He's like, just let me hear you scream, and then I scream, and it's like, oh.
Oh,
It
wow,
sounds
that's
like I'm
cool.
yelling at my kids.
And then he's the melody guy that does the high parts and shit like that.
Yeah, I do a lot of the like more difficult clean stuff.
yeah, I'm not. I like it's hard. Singing is hard. I don't know if
Yeah.
you know this or not, but it's tough. Well, for me anyway. I mean, he's like, yeah, it's like this. Just do it like
So
this.
I play guitar and sing.
Cool,
And,
okay.
I record my own music, and I used to play in a band where like a hard rock psychedelic band. They said we sound like Porcupine Trees meets Nirvana.
Wow, cool.
And yeah, I thought it was cool. And I play guitar and sing, and you're exactly right. It's really really hard.
tough,
It's
yeah.
tough. And just singing alone is hard. For
Absolutely.
me, I have to get in the moment to do it. You know,
That's when I sound the best, is when I'm by myself. You know,
yeah, me too. I'd rather
Right.
be left alone to do it because I remember when we recorded and the guys were on the other side and I'd hit a bad note, they'd be laughing and shit. And I'd be like, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
dude, I can't do it with you. I can't do it with you.
yeah, I
Gabriel."
know. I just think that
You pussy.
I just think I
can't
sound
do
the
it.
best when no one's around, just naturally. I'm like, those are the right notes, right? And I'm like, yeah, I can give myself an encouraging boost.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I also think too when you're by yourself, you get in the moment better. You know, you ever been in the
That's what
moment
she
where,
said.
Yeah.
where you sing it and you're like, man, I just rocked through that whole song and I don't even remember what I did, but it was awesome.
The worst is when I'm coming up with a concept for a song and I have it great, but I'm standing in the shower, don't have anything to write it down on, and then I'm lost when I get out of the shower. I'm like, that was a great line. I'll never forget it. And then I get out of the shower, I'm like, what? I don't even remember what the concept was about.
Many lost lines in the shower.
Oh,
Yeah, that same thing happens to me. I'll be in the shower and I'll just be thinking of a melody and I'll get out and I'll be like, what's
Where
that?
do you do most of your writing at?
At home.
Oh,
Or
well, I meant
we're
like,
recording.
well, I meant like where at, like in the room, like do you have a specific room you go to? It's like you're crazy.
Oh yeah,
like,
so I had my I just recently changed it too. That's funny you asked that question. But I just recently changed my whole apartment around, but it was in the dining room. And I would jam in there and I have my pedal and I loop shit.
right.
And that's how I basically taught myself to play lead guitar because for probably like 16 years of playing guitar, I was rhythm and vocals. And I was only vocals by the fact that I was the best singer in the band.
Mm,
Okay. I never really wanted to sing
right.
at all. And like on my stuff, I only do backing vocals. I write all the lyrics, but I do backing shit.
Right.
Sometimes I'll throw like a lead line in, only if I know I can hit all the notes. Because I don't want to look like a dick.
No, I feel
know?
it. I know exactly how that goes. If I can pass it off on Mike, that's what I do.
Yeah, I wish I had that. I would, I might hire you guys to sing on my album.
Well, see, the funny
I
thing
need
with
help.
Steve is he was actually the exact opposite. He ended up being the singer because he was the worst guitar player in the
Yeah.
band.
No, that was funny.
That's hilarious.
And it's,
Oh my god, that's funny.
and it's what's really funny is it's true. Like when I'm because I write some guitar parts for the band. Still, I send them stuff and
Yeah.
they just tell me no all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
But
That's true.
but they'll be like, I'll send him something. He's like, "You're coming in on 11 for the on
That's-
the
yeah,
It's
Mexican?"
gonna be a
yeah.
weird. Like, what are you doing?
And then like I've sent it to our buddy Matt Tarek. He did keyboards for what's Joey Jordan's? What was Joey's?
Oh, Scar the Martyr.
Yeah, Joey Jordison. He
Oh,
did
that's
keys
cool.
for. So I'll send him stuff, and he's like, "I don't know what you would do with your music."
What was that?
My board is bugging out, man. I'm trying to fix it, but it's acting like a complete retard.
Hey, say while we're talking to Conniption Fit, can you put on something off YouTube for me?
Now you're asking Satan for too much.
Can you put on that one song by them? I think it's called listen today. Alchemy.
Yes.
Alchemy. Alchemy.
Yeah.
Alchemy.
Alchemy.
Alchemy. So who wrote that?
I did, and then like everybody wanted to know what the
And
song was about.
we'll talk over it.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Everybody wanted to know what it was about, and I go, I just wrote stuff that I thought sounded cool, and there was no story. It's like one of the few songs that
I like
doesn't
that
have.
title, man. The title's cool because for me, I mean, I like it, and I'm pagan, so I like herbs and I like oil and binding and doing and the salt and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
alchemy to me, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, initially like I was like, yeah, it's like turning like what we were doing into a product, and it did come out more refined. Got lucky
Yeah,
that
I
way.
like it. I thought it was really, really cool. So,
Yeah,
And-
yeah. Steve actually wrote a lot of guitar riffs on that song with previous guitar player, another kid named Mike.
Yeah.
And I came back. I was in another band at the time, and I kind of was on hiatus. I came back when they decided he was going to go to vocals, and so they had a rough idea for the song, and I kind of I rearranged the hell out of it. Actually, I was like, "You got some cool ideas, but why are you starting this song with a breakdown? Like, what the hell is going on here?
that's cool. I like it, man.
What are you-
That's what
What
grabbed
are you
my
breaking
attention.
down from? Like, you gotta have some kind of an introduction before you can get anywhere else."
I think originally it was called Breakdown City.
Yeah,
That's funny. Yeah, I like this a lot. And how do you not hear the System of a Down influence there? I mean, like,
Because that's Mike's. For me, it's like the harmonies. Aren't
that right there. Since we look, I like one of my favorite bands, Falling in Reverse.
Oh right. Oh dude,
Um,
that one video where he shoots the laser beams out of his eyes.
Is that Burn the World Down?
Oh my god. it's
watch the world burn.
Oh yeah, Watch
Yeah.
the World Burn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Burn the World Down.
Yeah, same thing. Watch it burn it. You got to burn it down first.
They got a lot of bad reviews
Yeah, I
on
heard.
that song because and you also hear us. I'm gonna have Satan play the beginning of Avenged Sevenfold's new song "Nobody."
Yeah, I hear so
because-
much bad press about that.
Yeah, but dude, and I was talking to one of my boss at work. He likes all the same music I like,
Yeah,
and really cool song, by the way. And we're talking about it. I'm like, when you're a musician, you want to further your career. You want to explore new ways and new heights, right? So you try to write different for every album. So, like my next album, I'm gonna try to go heavier, like doom, sludge, shoegaze, right,
Mhm.
Okay.
with blues lead guitar because that's what I do. And my vocals are all about fucking women because they always fuck me over. So it's all heartbreak shit.
Right.
But you always wanted to go to new heights,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
always.
like Falling in Reverse got tagged because they tried to do something different. Operatic, hard rock, metal, right? And then Avenged Sevenfold is like industrial doom metal,
Right.
right? Satan, while we're talking about it, can you bring up Avenged Sevenfold's clip that I sent you? It's off a YouTube clip, but it's the beginning of their new song. We can't do the lyrics, which really sucks.
Right.
Dave, if you're listening, can you find a way that we can play the songs and then we can record them and put them on YouTube where we could have the vocals? Because that just explains the song. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a
Don't you mean?
it's a
You know
critical
what I mean?
part of the song.
I wish
Yeah.
that we. You know, I remember playing the band, and the lead guitar player was like, "I don't care what you sing." I was like, "Don't even hear the song, dude. You know what it's about."
When I was in
Motherfucker.
Slaves to Society, they let me write whatever I want, and it
What was
was.
the name of the song?
What was the name of the?
Oh, it's Nobody by Avenged Sevenfold. I sent you the clip because I took out the vocals on it. I think it's only maybe like 39 seconds long, maybe. But it starts off with a ticking clock. Like, tick, 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 tick. I think it's the first one because that second one is Metallica's new one, which we could listen to as well. Have you heard that new one?
Yeah.
I haven't.
I have mixed feelings about it. Like I want to like it and I kind of, but it's also allowed Metallica to.
Yeah,
It's
don't
kind
know.
of cool, but at the same time, it doesn't really sound like the Metallica people want to hear. The last single they did, like Lanterna, actually sounded like almost like 80s Metallica, where it's more thrashy and ripping
See, there
leads
you
and
go.
stuff.
There you go, talking about old Metallica. They're trying to do new stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just how it is as a fan. That's how it is.
Well,
Well,
Even
yeah,
your
the
fans
band
will
the
be
band
like,
wants to grow and
Right.
explore artistically, and the fans want to hear the same album over and over again.
and the
Unfortunately,
right, and the one thing that fans don't understand from a musician standpoint, because they're not musicians, is that every time a fan who has never heard that band before gets like Falling Reverse, they've never heard that style before
Yeah.
from that band. All of a sudden, that's their initial impression, and they can grow their fan base from
Right.
there.
I agree.
And
And that's how I feel about. Let me say this, and I'm gonna say it as I don't give a fuck. I had a band drop off the bill that I'm doing on that I asked you guys to play on June 17th. They dropped off because they didn't feel like they fit in with the show, and I was like, you guys don't get it. The idea is that it's like a festival. You go to Incarnation. No, I can't speak.
Incarnation.
yeah,
Incarceration
All right.
Fest.
Carnation Instant Breakfast.
Yeah.
What?
Fucking carnation.
That's what
Yeah,
I,
look at that.
that's what I call it.
Yeah. So you go to that festival and you hear Black Label Society, you hear Theory of a Dead Man, what's that fucking band called? Oh man, there's so many. It was Falling in Reverse, 10 Years. But they're all different styles of metal, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to play that festival? Why
Right.
wouldn't you want to play my shows? Because now you're playing to a band that, Oblivia, who's playing, they're like hardcore metal. And then you got Necrobiome, who's like doom death metal.
That's brutal name.
That's a cool name, isn't
Anything
it?
that has necro in it,
Mhm.
it's like, all right, that's obviously some sort of form of deathcore, death metal, death something. It's in the name.
I want to start a hardcore punk band, call it Necro Pussy.
Wow.
Delicious.
I've dined there before. It's delicious. You should
Oh,
get the
boy.
steak. Bloody rare.
Oh,
Extra bloody.
Extra juicy. Remember when Lisa was like, I could never let a guy just go down on me when I'm on my period. Blood clots. I was like, clots? I was like, God damn, I just wanted to throw up. These guys are like, oh, God. It reminds me of this red rose. super. My mom's at home watching right now. She's like, "Oh my God, Jeffrey!"
Come up with taffy stuck on your tooth.
Satan, I wanted to pull this joke on you last week, but I forgot about it. How do you know when you've eaten pussy well?
I eat everything well, so I don't know.
You wake up in the morning and your face looks like a glazed donut.
Wow.
Yeah, usually mine's is jelly filled and it's red.
Never want the cream filled. Yeasty. Oh God, I'm sorry, Lisa. Jesus Christ. So Satan, do you have those clips?
I do.
Can we play them? Some Sevenvolts new song, Nobody. Synth. Right? Dave, we should hear the vocals. God damn, we need to get bigger. I want to be hearing the vocals and shit.
It's not. It's YouTube.
And the video
It's
is
Facebook.
cool.
It's Facebook's fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck Facebook.
Yeah, whatever you say.
It reminds me. It somehow reminds me.
I take
of
that back.
Tom
I'm
Sawyer.
sorry.
Oh, probably the drum beat.
Yeah, it reminds me of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, it does kind of.
I bet
And-
you could lay those vocals over top of it and it would be just fine.
Today's Tom Sawyer gets high on you,
Yeah, that's what it gets. It sounds just like
and the
that.
Space Invader gets high on you.
Yeah, that sounds. I think it's
That
just
sounds
that-
nothing like it, but
I think it sounds. I think it's just the synth.
Could be, yeah, that too. That
yeah, I think. Yeah, I was about to say, and I don't mean it as a put down, but anybody can use that synth sound. I mean,
Oh right, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's how did the dude from Metallica say it was not a staple, but fuck, he said something into that Monsters thing on they did when they're in the therapist's office. Oh, stock. It's a stock sound.
Mm,
know what I
right,
mean?
Right.
He was ripping on Kirk Hammett's lead guitar. He's like, that's a stock solo. It's like, what do you mean? I'm fucking shredding it.
Right. And that's the worst part too. Is just anything because it's difficult to solo. I can't solo at
No.
all. I mean, like I can do a bend and that's as far as it goes. It go "Wing," and then I stop right there. I'm like, that's
So-
good enough for me.
That's funny you bring that up. So I just want to say this. So I told you I played rhythm guitar and I sang, and I never played lead guitar. And what happened was I wanted to record an album. So Mark helped me out. He gave me a lot of pointers. I recorded at a studio. I got a studio drummer and a studio bass player. Some bass parts I played on like the guitar pedal bass, you know.
Mhm, yeah.
And you know, I kind of fucked my way through it, but I did it. And but how I learned to play lead guitar was I took the song and I put it on my speaker, and I would loop my rhythm guitar, and I just did blues guitar, and I just played over. If it was an E, I stayed in the box just like Jimmy Page would,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
And
right,
I
right.
basically moved boxes, and I was like, that's not bad. I mean, it's probably like novice, you know. I wouldn't say it's like expert, but it's like novice, and I just let it rip, you know. And like you said about the banging the string, so what I did was I had my pedal, and then I fucking cranked up the gain on it, and I put echo and phaser and all kinds of shit. I'm like,
Put some
I
fucking gain.
I went and bought a wah pedal. I'm fucking like Zach Wild, like wow, fucking ripping fucking solos off shit. And Sean Hensley's like, dude, that's not bad. I'm like, dude, I'm just bullshitting my way through this shit right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some people said they liked it. I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm a great guitar
I mean,
player,
like, I
but
know-
I have fun doing it.
I know as a guitar player, I'll never be walking the red carpet. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
don't
Like,
think I will either.
I won't even get an invitation.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean-
it got lost in the mail.
I talked about influences last week, and my influence on lead guitar is Eric Clapton. I like the
Cool.
way he phrases his solos to the melodies of the song. And that's what I do on blues guitar. So I'll just like kind of follow the vocals, or like I'll pull up on bends and shit like you're talking about.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys, and before I ask you, I'm going to say this. I think you guys sound like System of a Down. To an extent, because System of a Down is weird all the way through their song.
Yeah.
You guys do like fucking describe it. It's like brutal metal, System of a Down, back to melodic metal. I mean, it's fucking all over the place.
Yeah, that's it.
But it works, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and let me also say this: when I was listening to it, and I'm going to mention a band that was on my first show, Mike Riley. He plays in a band called Burns Within. When I listened to his band and I listened to your band, I was thinking to myself, why are these guys not on like Inkfest? I don't get that.
Because you have to pay to get on.
Yeah.
And we're broke.
Well,
I'm broke.
I mean, what do you have to pay to get on the actual show,
Yeah.
the main stage,
Yeah, I
or the
think
side stage?
Just any of them.
I think that any way they can get money from you. It's just business. I mean,
No,
it's
I don't
just-
think you pay for. Well, first off, I know you don't pay for the side stage because I asked.
I
I
don't know.
asked all the guys. What it is it's like some areas do battle the bands, and that
Yeah,
band
yeah.
gets to play it.
Yep.
Some areas get voted in. Some areas, a manager or a producer, Mark Berry, gets you in.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And the side stage is what you're getting is regional touring bands, which you guys
That's
definitely
what we
have.
do. Yeah.
Well, I would also like to go out on a limb here and say, Mark Berry, this is the type of band that you should sign if you're listening. You guys could play main stage.
Oh,
You're
thank
just
you.
as good as fucking. I'm trying to think of the band. Oh, what's the fuck? Papa Roach.
Okay, yeah.
Way better
Take
than
Take
them.
that.
I'll take it. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Papa Roach, let's be honest, and I'm sorry, guys, if I'm saying this and it pisses you off. Papa Roach is verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, verse, bridge.
abracadabra.
Yeah. Abracadabra.
That's what it is.
Abracadabra,
Well, no,
bitches.
ABACA. It's the
Yeah.
verse, chorus, bridge.
That's fucking funny.
That's what it is. Abracadabra.
I like you, man.
Yeah.
You're funny. And you have a great beard.
Thank you. I try. I do my best.
The flavor saver.
Yeah.
This guy could save for days.
The toughest
I
one.
know how you got your beard.
Bro, they're all sitting up here with beards. I feel fucking lonely, man. I shaved my shit last night.
Toughest part is when you get yolk in it. That's,
Oh, yeah.
You make a sandwich, yolk gets in it, and then you don't. No one tells you. You
You
go
just got
around
this
for
yellow gob dried in your face.
Yeah.
My beard's all white now.
Yes.
All this under
This
here
is
is white,
dyed.
so I just shaved that shit.
This is dye. It's starting to salt.
You dyed it?
Oh yeah, I dyed my whole head. I don't
Oh,
want
good.
I don't
job,
want
bro.
people knowing I'm old.
Yeah, I don't dye my beard. I do dye my hair. For the past year, it was blonde, and now it's like grayish black. And I think I'm gonna do it blue next. At neon blue.
I think it's I'm trying to think. Fariel. I think is I'm pronouncing the dye. correct?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Fariel. That's
Okay.
hilarious.
That they have a midnight blue that's great. It's black, but when the sun hits it, it's blue. It's nice.
I love that. Dude, I met. I'm gonna bring you up now, and remember the ladies roll call? Let's talk about that because I'm gonna start bringing up some bitches for the week. I met this chick. She had neon blue hair. You bring up blue hair thing. She had neon blue hair. Her name was Carrie H. I met her at Backdraft Bar. You ever been there?
That sounds familiar.
It's in North Homestead.
I've been to a lot of bars.
Sure.
I mean, we're playing all the time. You know, like people
Well,
have
of
you ever
course.
been there, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yep. They're like, you haven't been there, and they show them a picture. Like, damn, man.
Dude, all musicians drink. I mean,
I
some
just-
are sober. I mean,
I just recently quit drinking on accident, so it's
Yeah.
like I had been working so much, and then I didn't realize that I hadn't drank for 6 months, and I was like, oh, I just been stacking money, so I just, you know,
yeah, dude, I didn't drink for like a month. Well, I had surgery, and then after that, that's I gained weight and shit. And yeah, I didn't drink for like a month and a half. And tonight was the first time I had an actual beer in the shot. I was downstairs at I think it's called, what is it called? The Cornerstone Brewery.
yeah.
And I had like an Amber Jack beer.
Mhm.
It's like an Oktoberfest beer.
Hmm.
And I had that, and I had 2 shots of Telly. And he poured a nice drink. And Yeah, I actually feel pretty good.
Yeah.
At least I'm a little drunk on Redline Radio. I'm sorry. Yeah, fucked up day. Had a great week with one fucked up day. Isn't it funny how like one bad day outweighs everything?
Yep.
Well, it's just like a car. You don't focus on the 4 good tires. If you pop a
You're
tire,
right.
you focus on the tire that's popped.
That's exactly true. Man, that's a good way of thinking about it. Never
Yeah.
thought about that before. I like that.
Yeah, most people don't use car analogies.
Yeah. I do with women.
Right.
All right, here we go.
Oh, boy.
I like a car with good mileage.
Right.
You know, I don't want a car with a bunch of high mileage.
Right.
You know, ran through by
Right.
everybody.
Yeah, you don't want
You know?
the interior with like springs hanging out. You
No.
know?
I also like a car. I also like a car that smells good inside.
Mm.
You know, nothing like a bad smelling car.
You
You
don't
know,
want
they're
people
just
to-
not want to get inside.
Yeah, you don't want cars that smell like farts.
Right.
Yeah.
I also don't want a car that like wobbles when you drive. Like one tire is smaller than the other 3, so it's
Yeah.
like a little fucking troll, like that stupid bitch that's been fucking on me and fucking with me on fucking Instagram. Fuck you, man.
That bitch.
God damn, Ratchet Rachel. God damn. That's why I broke up with you 2 times. Psycho. I'm
That
sorry.
happened. You can't have a psycho car.
So you
That's
know
how
you
you
can
end
say
up with the
whatever you
movie.
want on radio.
Yeah, that's
As
why.
long as you don't say the last name or where they live
Oh, right.
No.
Right.
or where they work,
All right.
you're totally good.
Psycho Cars is how you end up with the movie. What is that? Christine?
Christine.
Christine, that's a fucking great movie. I wish Christine would pay Rachel a fucking visit tonight. All right, so I'm gonna decompress, and yeah, I want to do the ladies roll call, and I can't remember what I was talking about in the first place, but I do want to say thank you so fucking much to Lisa at Redline Radio, the GM. She invited me to the comedy show. First time ever did I feel like I in the past couple of years that I really had fun. I've had fun with other chicks, but you know that was definitely the best. And then she took me to dinner, which I didn't get paid till the next day. I quit my job and went in a different direction with my life. Probably about 2 months ago.
Good for you.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy. It's definitely a totally different change. But anyway, she took me to dinner to Applebee's with Tim after we did the comedy show, and that whole night was really fun. But yeah, that was great. And then Stephanie, who was going to be on the show tonight, couldn't make it because she's a bitch. I honestly think Rachel is Stephanie. I mean, Rachel, if you're listening, I mean, we didn't make it, honey. You were fire and I was gasoline. We didn't get our engines roaring together. I apologize. It didn't work out. But I kind of feel it's her. Anyway, also another Rachel, I want to thank Ray from the Foundry. You're helping
Right.
me with the show. And yeah, she's cool, right?
Yeah.
You like
Yeah.
her?
Yeah, we've known Ray for a long time. Like
Oh, yeah.
way back in the day, Peabody's and
Peabody.
stuff.
Oh, that's
is-
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The whole Peabody's group. It's just, we never broke off. You know, everybody, it was cool. Z brought everybody from Peabody's over to the Agora. And then, so, you know, obviously some
Yeah.
people went to Foundry and stuff like that. But it's cool. Like, it's such a tight knit group of people.
Right,
Everybody's so
everybody
nice.
knows everybody.
Yeah.
All right, so how long have you guys been at this music thing?
Oh, I've been at it since I've been 14.
Right. How about you?
Man, yeah, I think I started. I was probably about 13 when I like really started taking music seriously.
Before you guys got to Conniption Fit, how many bands had you guys been in?
This one.
Just this one?
Well, like when I was growing up, you know, it's like I only had a few people, and then we got together and started playing. We were absolutely terrible, and but
We all are.
right. But our original singer, we were in high school together. You know, obviously high school together. But he ended up dying, and in memory, we kept the name. So I was always like in the same band, and just through the members and stuff like that, I just decided to keep the name as in memory because it's what got me
Yeah.
into it. And it's just, you know, I still keep his photo next to my bed. Like I have like a
That's
windowsill,
cool, man. I like that.
you know, I mean, I'm sappy. I'm metal, but I'm sappy.
You know, I have a friend, and I'm going to say his name on the air, and I don't think that he'll care if I say his name. Ryan Simbeck, and you probably know the guy from Critic City, the lead guitar player Simbeck, right? Have you heard of him?
I'm
I don't think so.
I don't
Yeah,
think-
he's an amazing guitar player, and that story that you just told me, Ryan, if you're listening, or if you ever listen, I'm thinking about you, buddy, and it reminds me of that story,
yeah.
and that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, try to keep we're here for a short time, and you got to make the best of
Right.
it. And you keep those memories. It just tells you, hey, this is where it's from. These things can happen. Make sure that you treat everybody that you value.
Yeah.
Friendship-
I totally agree with that.
friendships are just like cars. Another good analogy. If you take care of them, they'll last forever.
Right. They will last forever. And well, except for if there's an EMP and then we lose a solenoid.
Shows
But
the
if you have an
solenoid.
old car,
Yeah,
you
right.
can, yeah, I always wondered this question. Can you take the solenoid out of your new car?
Well, like I had an 87 5.0 Thunderbird, and you could take the solenoid out. And you could also jump it with a screwdriver.
Can you take it out with a Kia Sorento?
I'm not a car guy. With all the car analogies, you think
I'd
I
like
would
to
know
know that.
something about them, but I know how to hit
'Cause
the
I don't-
gas and the brake.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far off we are from an EMP from China or Russia. I think I don't know. I don't like to talk about the regular news on my show because it's so fucking depressing.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me ask you this question. All right, let me ask you this. Where do you see your band? I don't like to say 5 years, but that's normally what people say. Let's say 3 years from now. Where do you see your guy?
If any luck, back on tour. Fuck.
Yeah.
Where do you guys normally tour? Do you go regionally or?
From
Yeah.
Iowa to Maine.
Not
I
really
think,
Iowa, huh?
is-
You went to
yeah.
Maine?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were on tour with Ginger right before COVID.
Really?
And it was fantastic. Our bus broke down every single day.
That's fucking great.
And I was under it every single day.
You guys
trying
had
to
a
fix it.
bus, huh?
We have a bus now.
Nice.
We just need to put the bunks in and all that jazz.
So you guys out there don't realize how hard it is to be a musician and all the work that goes into it. I mean, think about this. Like for me, all I'm doing right now is just recording albums and trying to like sell songs to get my music out there. These guys actually record songs, put their music out there, go on tour, right? Which takes a lot of effort, a lot of money,
Fuck yeah, a lot of money.
and a lot of time, right?
Away from your family too.
Yeah, away from your families and shit like that. And then they have a fucking tour bus that fucking breaks down every day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that stress?
It's-
Fuck, man.
It's not sweet.
Yeah,
I'll tell
I
you,
don't
it's
know.
ill-advised.
I don't know. I thought about the idea of going on tour, and I also thought about the idea of playing shows locally. It just, god damn, that takes a lot of effort. Like I was telling Mike from Burns Within, I was like, dude, that's like 8 hours a day, 3 days a week at least. Just I played in the band before they got signed with Mark, back when he had Attack Media. And dude, we practiced 4 days a week. We practiced with the lights out, with strobe lights going, so we could get used to playing on stage or festivals and shit, where you couldn't see.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Wow.
remember playing, riff parts in the dark, like
To
hitting
practice, yeah.
really bad notes.
oh, yeah.
Like, bam!
We call
Like,
that
sorry,
fishing for
bro.
notes. You're fishing for notes.
Oh yeah, you know that feeling where you're like playing lead guitar or a riff part, and you're like, I don't even know where I am right now. Yeah, it's a horrible
Yeah,
moment.
every time I pick up a guitar. It's like you would think that I
That's
knew what to
fucking
pick
great.
it up, and I look at it, where it's like you're holding it upside down.
Oh,
It's
God.
adorable.
Yeah, man.
But
So yeah, that's fucking great. I've had moments where my old band, I brought them up like 4 times, and I'm gonna say the name right now because I wrote all the songs and all the lyrics. Oh my god, we have a lot of comments. And we played one show. It was in October at a pod festival, and we played on a Friday night, I believe, and it was like 40 degrees, and when you sang, you could see the
breath. Yeah.
breath, and my hands were so cold, and I had riff parts, and I had rhythm guitar, and I had to do vocals. I could barely move my hands up and down the
Right.
neck. I was like, they're frozen.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen
trying
him
to
play
hit
with-
like a minor chord.
I've
I
seen
was
him
like,
play
my
with gloves
hands.
on before, just trying to warm up his knuckles just so they could move. I'm like, why are you playing so slow and sloppy?
You're playing like you're stoned out of your mind right now.
That's when he sounds good. All right, here's the joint. Make this happen. Please get
Oh,
a
man.
bar.
I'll say this one thing about being high. Before shows, you get up on stage, you set up your amp, you get your you guys out there don't even realize this, what musicians go through just setting up the play on stage. Got your pedal out, you gotta fucking plug all your shit in, you gotta tune up. Now listen, don't ever get super stoned before you have to tune your guitar.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, everything sounds great. You're like, that's in tune.
It's the worst.
That's in tune.
I remember one time I just handed my guitar to the lead guitar player. I'm like, I can't do it.
Oh my god!
I was like, please just take
Dude,
this thing
I got
from
a
me.
story for you.
All right, just-
We were playing. We were playing the Cove in Geneva,
Yeah.
and I got so bombed that first off, I had passed out on my guitar case just out behind the place. I got smashed, and then like we could hear people making fun of. They were like, "Dude, they're gonna sound like trash."
Oh, it's great.
And then as soon as like we were setting up, I started crying because I couldn't. I mean, literally
tune his
sobbing
guitar.
because I couldn't like put my guitar rig together. I was like missing.
No.
And then I was like, "Oh my god, my guitar's out of tune." I was like, "Someone please help me!" And then we crushed it.
Because you know why you crushed it? Because it's
I-
just clockwork.
Yeah,
Right?
and muscle
Because
memory.
Yeah.
It's muscle. You go through it so many times. I remember playing shows, dude, where we were a headliner and we would play through our whole set, and I'd be like, I don't remember any of that. shit. I know it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
You remember when I was doing like the flaming my arms around like dude, windmills and shit?
My favorite is when you're bombed and you think that you're sweet on stage and you watch back the video, you're like,
So
"Whoa,
What a dick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
I've had all of that's why it's really important. Like when I do my shows, I'll go home and I'll watch it
yeah.
the night I do it.
I'm obsessive about it. Yeah.
Right. I'm obsessed to it because I want to be successful, So I'll watch the show and I'll watch it 3 more times this week. I'll be like, yeah, I didn't like that part or I didn't like that part. But yeah, that I know that's how it goes. But hey, listen, before we do that, we're gonna take a break because I need to have a cigarette and I need to go to the bathroom. I want to play another song by you guys.
Okay.
I want to
Cool.
play Devil
Devil
and
and
the
Poseidon.
Poseidon.
Yeah.
Satan, do you like that name?
It sounds beautiful.
We wrote a song about you, man.
Yeah, you better have.
I saw you sitting over there playing on your phone, Satan.
Wasn't playing.
So he's texting his bitches in hell.
Exactly. See, you know what the fuck was going on.
He's like, and I don't know if Daphne's there, but Daphne covered my cock tonight. Devil and Poseidon.
Supernatural suicide every other year. Liars, blasphemers, sinners, low Catholic soul. From heaven to hell, free the saints, saviors, prophets, low Catholic soul. From heaven to hell, saints, I see you hanging with the wrong crowd. Do I let you in? No, I'll cast you out. Shall climb on the ground. She only casts a creation. Tonight, set us and be forgiven. An angel divine. Your God doesn't play for the devil.
I am your sin, your goddamn creation. I have been there for you through all temptation. What can you say that you done for me? I got your tongue, but you ain't said nothing. You are the same, the devil and Messiah. Don't look at me, just look at your tribe. Cast out to eat some fire from Father. We're the result of the vengeance you fire.
Counts if you're sitting in the throne. The crown only counts if you're sitting in the throne. The crown only counts if you're sitting in the throne. The crown only counts if you're sitting in the
Those liars' eyes always tell the truth, and all you have to do is look in the mirror and see where you are, so lost in the dark, unable to find the light. Stop convincing yourself that you need no eyes to see where you are. Lost in the dark, unable to find your way. Stop convincing yourself that you need those eyes where you are. So lost in the dark, unable to find your way. Stop convincing yourself that you won't survive the disgrace.
Satan approved.
Is that him? That's you? That's cool. I like that. How was your shit? Feel better?
I was losing the battle, dude. I was like, oh, I'm drowning. Oh my God.
Who's that? Is that you or him?
That's either one of us.
Neither one of you.
Cleans are mostly me. I mean, he does the part going into that clean part.
Yeah.
You know, the introduction, So Lost in the Dark. And he does actually have a pretty unique clean voice, which
pretty
know.
unique. That's the nicest way I've ever heard
That's what I'm
anybody
saying.
put
It's
it.
terrible. Actually, no. I mean, I gotta toot my own horn a little bit here because I've been working with Steve for too long. What 16, 18, 17, 18
Holy
years
fuck,
now.
that's
And
a
I
long
still
time.
suck.
And,
So it's like, dude, you are a terrible teacher.
Man, so when I joined the band in 2006, and it was a completely different band. We were known as like this drunken thrash, just party band. Like the music wasn't very good. It was intense though. Like
Yeah.
when you come to the show and see it live, it was like the stage show was insane because they were just, crazy, just smashing into each other, and people in the pit were just loving it. But it was this noise. You couldn't even understand what was going on. It was
Do you
just-
guys get a mosh pit when you play?
Oh yeah. Oh
We-
yeah.
we actually had signs at one place that said that if anything was broken, that we would be held responsible because they
Wow.
ripped the railing off.
Do you
our
have to
place.
sign a contract for that when
Oh,
you
yeah.
play the show?
We got in a lot of we got banned from the Cove, I think, for 3 years or something because they basically they said we weren't allowed to mosh or whatever. So our singer
Yeah.
Teddy at the time pretty much told the fans to just rip the place to the ground. They destroyed the green room.
Threw a chair into the
yeah,
ceiling. It was
I mean-
stuck into the ceiling.
There was about 10
Holy
gallons of
fuck.
fake blood splattered on every surface possible. It was
I mean,
that's
a
horrible.
puddle
yeah.
of
we were,
fake blood.
we were pretty
Yeah.
intense back then. It was
Did
just
you
like
test
get
it?
shit
Was it
faced.
fake?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, we
yeah,
brought.
yeah,
No, we
yeah.
brought. I brought it.
Or gelatinous?
It was a Halloween
That's funny.
show, and it was
But
that was a mistake.
We destroyed the place, and they were like,
I booked a show one time and I brought this band from Buffalo who I loved, and I don't know if they're still together, but they were called Thrown to the Wolves. They're like this gothic metal rock band. They were fucking great. But I brought them to the Flying Machine in Lorraine.
Sweet.
Do you remember the Flying Machine?
God, that's been a long
Uh,
time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that
I'll
was a
tell
cool
you,
spot.
Mitch taught me everything, show promotion and booking and running the
Cool.
club. I talk about it all the time when we're on the radio. He taught me all kinds of shit. Yeah, I love that guy. And he had a great club. It was fucking great. It was like a ballroom. You remember it?
Yeah,
And
it was a long
I
time
actually,
ago,
at
yeah.
one point, he let me rent out the back, which I called Baby Ray's Backstage Bar.
Wow, cool.
And we used to like the overflow when people would want to get away from the music would come back there.
Cool.
But
Okay.
so that's how I learned to run the bar, and I would never do it again. It kind of sucked.
It's
but
a lot of
it's a lot of work. And then I would have bands come and they'd bring nobody, and I'd still have to pay them like $200 bucks and
exactly.
shit.
Then
at
you
least
get,
you're paying
yeah.
bands, though.
yeah.
I paid them, I
Yeah.
paid them. We had some good nights. I won't say we didn't have any good nights. It was good.
The best way to run the best way I found to run shows. We still do our
The best way to do it.
Yeah.
we go, everybody's paying for sound. All the bands are paying
Yeah.
for sound because it's usually like $200-$300 maybe at max. With like 5 or 6 bands, that ain't shit.
Right.
You just go, everybody throw in, and then we go, here's 100 tickets, sell them for whatever
Yeah.
you want. You up us 5 tickets of your
They
money.
don't do tickets no more.
We do.
Yeah, I noticed. And I got back into promoting. I noticed that, like, and I'll say your name on the radio, Bolivia. The manager wrote me, and he was like, Jeff, we're not a cashless society. We still need glossy tickets. And I'm saying, like, I kind of like that idea because they're like souvenirs.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a whole book full of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And I collect concert tickets. I went to see with the X. I went to see Falling in Reverse in Detroit.
Cool.
And that's definitely a ticket that I'm gonna frame with
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
a picture of us. I mean, even though we're broken up, I mean, I still had that moment. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. No,
You
I
know,
mean,
so
like we keep because our names are on it, so it's like we played from Fear Factory, Nothing Face,
yeah,
Chimera.
Fear Factory. I just listened to them the other night. They do a cover of Gary Newman's Cars.
Yeah. Another car reference.
Yeah. Another car reference. It's
Hey,
a
say-
good cover too, actually.
Say, while you're over there texting one of your bitches, can you pull up Fear Factory's Cars by Gary Newman? Just maybe hear the first little few lines.
So
That's a great song.
it's
I'm
funny
thinking
that
about
you-
using that for my show at the IX Center for the
Why you
Power
bothering me
Distance
when
show.
I'm trying to get my bitches?
So
Damn,
it's funny
man.
that you mentioned you're talking about glossy tickets. See, like we kind of also believe in that, the aesthetic of that. But what we do is when we do a headlining show, will do a limited run of these like lanyard like backstage passes.
Oh, that's cool.
And it'll have like the show art on it, or maybe it'll have like the flyer with all the bands on it or whatever.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And
Custom.
Lisa, are you
so-
listening? That's a great idea.
so we did a
Let's
show
make those.
where you know, like we had a bunch of new music and new merchandise that we were selling,
Right.
and part of it was
That's
the
it.
lanyard. And we're like, look, buy the ticket for the show for $10, and you get this laminate. Well, some people couldn't come to the show, but they wanted the laminates, so we sold laminates for the price of a ticket, and they didn't even come just because it was basically like a
Right.
donation.
And they were all.
Oh,
they
and
were
I
that's
all-
loved
cool
it,
too, though.
because you got a souvenir now. It's
Yeah.
better than a ticket. It's going to last for 20 years because it's
You know-
fucking laminated.
And it was all. I made sure that I numbered
High gloss
all of them,
cardstock. Yeah, they're
And I
serial
know-
numbered. Yeah.
You know how
serial
many you
numbered?
sold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 of them, exactly 100 of them.
That's awesome. You know, when we went and saw Falling in Reverse in Detroit, they had this thing afterwards, and I believe it was $100. And then my girlfriend, Ratchet Ray, she bought a hoodie that was $100. She spent like $200, but she got her photo with Ronnie Radke, and then Falling in Reverse. She got to talk to the lead guitar player. I think his name is Mikey or something. He's fucking really good. And in Falling in Reverse, they actually played lead guitar, which is cool. You know, like Escape the Fate, you don't hear much lead guitar. It's a lot of melody shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands are like that now that are coming out. But yeah, she got to do all this like backstage shit. And I'll tell you a funny story. So I needed a cigarette. I've been in there. I was like probably 8th row. Like it was general admission, so you just moved your way to the front. So I was like 8th row from the front. And so I was like, oh, God damn, I need a cigarette. I need to get the fuck out of here. So I go out the back door and I walk out and the door closes behind me.
Oh,
and
no.
the security guy is standing behind the
Wayne's
door.
World, dude.
And I was like, yeah, I'm just going back in to get my girlfriend. He's like, oh, no readmittance. I'm like, what? He's like, you can't go back in. So I'm like looking around and all these.
in there.
My girlfriend's in there.
A lot of dudes' girlfriends are in there, brother.
Escape the Fates, run a train on her right now.
now.
That's exactly Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Couldn't escape that fate.
That is Wayne's World.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's it. And it actually happened in real life. I was like, I probably smoked like 5 cigarettes sitting outside and I froze my ass.
Yeah.
It was December, in Detroit. And I was like, fuck, man. I
Detroit.
can't fucking believe this happened. She comes out all happy, like, it's so much fun. I was like, yeah, I've been sitting out here for like 25
Did
minutes.
you know I was gone?
Didn't even
Nope.
notice I was gone. No,
Nope.
she didn't, dude. She was all like, I just want Rodney to lick my face. I guess that's a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
That sounds
he
gross.
meets his
Stinky.
fans and he licks their faces.
Stinky breath all over your head. Just
Beer
this-
whiskey breath on your face.
Eating some old pussy.
So speaking of Falling in Reverse, I don't know if you're familiar. So they have a song from one of their earlier records called the was it The Drug in Me is the Drug in You?
Right.
No, the studio track is kind of poppy and like it's kind of cool, but at the same time it's a little lame because it's sort of punk rock and
The
it's,
drug in me is you.
yeah, The Drug in Me is You, and it's like a pop punk thing. Well, they re-recorded that album. It's called parentheses Reimagined, and it's just Ronnie and a piano
Yeah, that
and
sounds
then guitar
great.
at the very end. But like it is the creepiest, most chilling fucking version of a pop punk song I've ever heard in my life. It's
like
so
that
dark and brutal.
I like that line
So
from
I
the
play it
song.
on piano at home.
Do you play it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I love
Yeah, my
that
girlfriend
song.
loves when I jam piano at home.
I like that line. Everywhere I go, I drag my coffee
Yeah.
around.
That's fucked up.
I like
man.
that.
That is definitely what she's there.
I think that's what depression is right there. You're like,
Right?
just
You
drag
always
this
know
bitch."
death's right behind you,
Right.
man. You're just waiting
It's
for it to
fucking
knock on
great.
the door. Yeah.
It's fucking funny. So I noticed we took our break and you took longer than the two of us.
Yeah, it was funny story. During pre-pro here, we are going over the schedule for tonight, and there was a predator growling in my guts a little while ago.
We finally
know,
took the Browns to the Super Bowl.
I was crowning. Let's say I was losing the battle. He was like, "We're gonna take a break." I'm like, "Good,
man,
I got
that's
it."
funny.
Shit,
My
right now.
my one buddy used to call it.
Just made it.
Dude, I was literally about to I'll be right back and run down to Cornerstone because man,
Oh,
it
man,
was
you could have.
I'm like sweating, like, oh my god.
You
So if
coulda
I looked
excused
uncomfortable
yourself
about 10
anytime,
minutes
it
ago,
would've
I'm
been
like
fine.
this. I'm trying to not shit my pants. So that
everybody
happened
shits their
live.
pants at least once in
Everybody,
their life.
yes, at least once.
Yeah, at least once. I mean, me and
That'd be
Satan
the
had talked about
second or
it.
third time for me probably
That's
in my
fucking
life.
funny.
The first time I was like 3. That was when I learned that I was allergic to grape juice.
Apple juice is what killed me.
Really? Yeah, grape juice fucked me up in it was like preschool, and I had these red corduroy overall things. Oshkosh bagosh, and like I get home and I'm doing the dance and I'm trying to get the things off, and my parents come in and try to help me off, and it was I just stopped moving and I looked up and started crying. It was too late. It was the worst experience of my life, probably.
I remember I was in New
throw
York
them out,
City.
burn those clothes.
I think
Get
that's
in
the only thing you can do is throw them away.
Oh, dude, you're no,
that's it.
You can wash the thing 20 times. It's still gonna have stains.
The
that are
memory.
there. Yeah, and
the memories.
there went your pride. It's just
Hot
gone.
snakes.
Doug's on there right now. He's like, "Are these guys gonna talk about shit their pants the whole show?"
Yes, Doug. I'm shitting myself right now.
I'm gonna shit down your throat.
Wow. That could smell terrible.
So hey, Satan, do me a favor and because I don't want to jump off this, but can you bring up and I just want to do a shout out to Doug and Frank. Can you bring up the Doug and Frank show that I thought about the other day before we go into our tattoo segment? And
Of course
hard dick, Lisa, if you're listening, you know what this means.
Wow.
Oh, you're gonna, you guys are gonna love this. This is great. So Doug and Frank are big fans of the show.
Clearly.
I'm sure you read the comments.
Yeah, I've been
during
reading
the
them.
break.
It's classic.
Oh, they're so good.
I look taller than you in this thing.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm slouching like a motherfucker.
Yeah, Nicole Wyatt and Daphne were on last week, and they were like, "Oh, Doug, you should do your own show. You know so much about metal, right?" So we want to bring this to you, and this is my idea, Doug and Frank, for a show for you guys, which I think would be fantastic. So, Satan, do you know where that is?
Got it.
And you pull it up from the depths of hell. Doug, you know, I put a lot of work into this, and you mentioned last week that Show Me Jeff did no show prep by doing no show prep. So there you go.
Oh my.
Can you bring it up a little bit larger?
That's also what she said.
Yeah. Let me put on my bifocals.
Wow. That's impressive. No,
Yeah. Me and Saint were talking about it. We're like, dude,
high and low five.
don't ever call me a bro again. I'm not your bro. Yeah. So this is the Eiffel Tower with no girl.
Jesus Christ.
So that's where hot dick came from, right?
My.
Like in football, you know, this like penalty. I don't know what it's called.
I don't even watch football.
Looks like
so I'm just
YMCA.
like, yeah,
So
to
it's
me,
like the high five with no chick,
Wow.
right? So I was thinking about Doug and Frank, and I was like, man, you're right. You guys should do a show. You call it the Bro Show. Because I figured, you know.
so
Don't
funny
call me bro no more.
Funny story. So there's a lot of hardcore bands where they'll be like heavy vocals, but they're not screaming. It's kind of like they're just sort of shouting.
They're
We call
yelling.
it bro screaming. And he wants to put it in every song, and we're like, absolutely not. He's like, come on, I'm just gonna bro scream it all
What
the
you
time.
do is you sing rape or you yell right behind the splow on each one. so
You
it's-
can't be on time.
Yeah.
You always have to be late.
It's that New York like I love New York hardcore, like VOD, Vision,
Yeah.
Vision
Oh,
of
yeah.
Disorders. I love that stuff. But there's also like a bad version of Hatebreed where it's just like for some reason, like the singer is like, yeah, no, if I'm just late a little bit, it'll sound good, and it doesn't. So every time that these guys are trying to do something, I really try to sing super late. Comes naturally sometimes.
You know, it's funny that you say that because when I played in the one band I was in, I was like, how funny would it be if like, because there'd be times I'd be listening to the song and I'd be like, man, that sounds like Purple Rain, or that sounds like, you know, like what's that one song by Gwen Stefani where it's BAN
Oh my
and
God.
A,
Bananas.
right? I was
That's
like,
in the song name.
yeah, I was like, man, it sounds just like the chorus.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
bananas.
They're like for people who don't know how to spell.
Yeah, that song's really bad.
So kindergarten is.
Yeah. You gotta start them young.
I am teaching kindergartens.
Yes.
Who's
No,
your
it's,
daddy and what does he do?
I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves is when bands spell stuff in their songs. I'm like, stop
Yeah.
it, dude. Just say the word. You know, it's just like, come
Yeah, it
on.
sounds like a Megadeth song.
Right.
So I gotta ask you something. What is with every fucking, especially metalcore band or deathcore band, every single one of them has to do every band. Like the guy from Architects was just like, you know, I wish I hadn't started doing that because now all the fans want to hear it in every song. So they put out an album during COVID, and the one single that was promoting the record, it was a lot more
So
clean vocals.
It's like a hairball.
Yeah, right, exactly. And he didn't do it, and he got a lot of like shit from his fan base because he didn't do
He
the
didn't do it.
And he was like, "What?"
Is that like Zach Wild's harmonics? Like,
Where he's got to have a wah and everything.
wah! I hate when he does that false harmonic on like every solo.
Just
Like,
cover up
Jesus
mediocre
Christ.
guitar playing with a wah. You'll be fine. You don't need to write a solo. Just play a bunch of random notes like Kerry King and
He's
throw a
a-
wah. On it.
What's that? What's Dave? What are you trying to tell me?
Mark is here.
Who's here?
Mark.
Oh, Mark
Mr.
Berry's on the
Berry.
line.
Yeah.
Mark, are you listening to our bullshit just going on and on?
He just got here. He literally just walked in.
So, Mark, I'm gonna have you just sit still for a few minutes before I introduce you because I want to go over a couple things. We brought up the Doug and Frank show, and I was gonna do a little skit on it, but I really don't feel like doing that because I don't really feel that Doug and Frank should get that much publicity because they're kind of dicks, and they're the type of guys that just want to hate on you because you know you're doing something different with your life. So what I do want to talk about is I want to go through some of the Breaking Spines news that we do about music and stuff, what's going on. And then, you know, feel free to talk in if you want. And then I'm going to introduce you, okay? And I'm going to introduce you to the band that's here tonight. And I'm going to introduce you to Satan. And introduce you to everybody that listens to us. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You hear me good?
Yeah.
Yep.
You look good.
Oh, you guys look great.
Thank you. I know you're lying, but I appreciate that sentiment.
He's so kind.
Everybody lies. It's okay.
That's all right.
No,
That's all
white
right.
lies. It's all good. Hey, so Mark, I do this thing where I do the Breaking Spines news. It's just basically about music, you know, like rumors, deaths, weirdness that happens in music.
Sure.
Last week, you know, the last member of Leonard Skinner died.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Rick Allen, the drummer from Def Leppard, was attacked by an Ohio man in
I
Florida.
saw that. What the hell was
You
that
seen
all
it?
about?
He was spying on Rick Allen. He was having a cigarette outside the lobby of the hotel he was staying at. I can't remember what maybe it was the Four Seasons or something like that. And this guy just came like running at him and tackled him to the ground, like gave him a concussion. And then
Jesus.
some woman tried to intervene. He beat on her, and then she ran to the lobby, and then he grabbed her by the back of her hair and pulled her back into the street and beat her some more. What made me laugh was, you know, I know this
That he
isn't
wasn't-
funny.
that he wasn't done.
But
Wow,
he didn't
interesting
kill her.
segue.
Rick Allen charged him with attack of an elderly person, and I thought that was funny because Rick Allen said he was elderly. So I thought that was funny.
How
you know?
old is he? He can't be much. I'm 68. He can't be much older than me.
Yeah, he's probably maybe 8 years older than me. I'm 55.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
thought he was
in his
like in his
60s.
early
I don't
60s.
know. One
Yeah, I
arm.
just saw him here in Toronto with the with Joan Jett, and it was a great show.
Oh man,
cool.
that sounds awesome.
I mean, what kind of an
Really good.
asshole attacks a guy who's
An
obviously
elderly man.
physically impaired? Like that
He's
takes a
smoking
real
his cigarette
dirtbag.
with his one good arm.
Hey,
That's
he's like-
fucking great.
He's like, I've got the upper hand.
Yeah, he's got no arms.
It's like a one-legged man in the
Jesus,
ass-kicking
ass-kicking
contest. I'll get you. So, also, to bring up more bad news, rest in peace to Dark Angel guitarist Jim Durkin. He's dead at 58. 3 years older than me. I did not look it up to see how he died. I didn't care that much. Rest in peace to artillery drummer Joshua Madsen. And you'll not laugh about this, but he was killed by a bus. That's what
Yeah.
it said in the article.
Like
killed by,
hit
a,
by
bus.
a bus, or
Just said killed by a bus.
it's not very specific.
He's probably hit by a bus, right?
You got to leave it open to the imagination.
Either that, or maybe it was a Cliff Burton scenario. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I don't
Shit
know.
happens a lot.
I
Someone
don't
tipped
think
the
that.
bus over.
I think he actually probably walked out of the bus and got hit by another bus. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Cradle of Filth drops its first single and live album in more than 21 years.
Wow.
Great.
Imagine how the music must have progressed since then, all of the things they went through. And we talked about, Mark, we were talking about how bands want to experiment and do different things, and they always get caught on by their fans. Can you imagine what Cradle of Filth's new music
Honestly,
sounds
I
like?
feel like they probably are still living in the 90s. I mean, like
be.
almost every record I've heard from him has been that same style. You know, like they obviously recorded it in the woods somewhere in Europe with crate guitar amps stacked up because it sounds like it was recorded in a tin can. You know,
You talk about
all the reverb.
You talk about Europe. Did you hear that thing that's going on between Jimmy Page and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they bought houses by each other?
So they could hang out.
No,
So they could hate on each other.
the one guy hates
Egg each other's houses.
Yeah, Mark, did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about that. I forgot what the confrontation was about.
The confrontation is, and I think it's Robbie Moore. I think that's what his name is. Satan, if you want to look it up, that'd be cool. He wants to build a man cave and he wants to put a studio in there. And I guess he has the man cave and not the studio yet, but it's creating a lot of noise for Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page has this mansion that he restored, that he put a lot of money into, and he doesn't want the walls to crack and shit like that. Jimmy Page said that I don't even play guitar or a guitar with an amp in my my house. I play acoustically because I don't even want the painting to move. You know, because it.
Well, yeah, I could
restored it,
probably
spent all that
crack.
money.
Yeah.
You know, I give Jimmy Page an idea is what, because the other guy does, you know, he's building a studio, doesn't want a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page's got the money. He should build an earthquake machine.
And so Robbie Moore, I looked it up.
Wow.
Robbie Moore actually makes his net worth is higher than Jimmy Page.
Holy shit.
But Jimmy Page is suing them. So Metallica has a new single out. I don't know if you guys heard it.
Yes.
Darkness Had a Sun. Satan, what you doing over there? Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it was like what, like 2 weeks ago, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I sent Satan that clip as well.
Is it sun like SUN or
No,
S-O-N?
like yeah.
That would be cooler
If
if it was
darkness
SUN.
had a sun.
If Satan had a child.
Yeah, well,
Damien. He's a mama's boy. Yeah, so Metallica has a new. So look that one up too. And then you know, Jeff.
That's a lot from Satan right now.
That's two things Satan has to do.
Too fucking much.
Yeah. This
the drum beats from the stop.
drums.
Right, it's weird, man. Like, it has like essence of but it also has that like load reload era feel. But then there's something newer, more alternative. Like I like it, but I don't like. I don't know. I don't have an opinion of it. I guess.
So I think that
Maybe
part.
or more.
That's Kirk Hammett.
Definitely.
And then where what's his? I'm saying James Hetfield.
Do you think James is going to do any work?
It's really
one way or
basic.
the other.
Opening.
That's right there. That's Kirk Hammett.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, James Hetfield.
Like it's definitely some of that vibe of the older style Metallica. Then like
Same place on that
once
good.
the chorus, it kind of threw me for a spin. I was like, man, it almost started off like Lex Eterna did, you know, that last track they put out, but then it kind of soft.
That's
almost,
Metallica's
you know what
new
I mean?
song, Mark.
What I hear is people
Yeah,
go.
all these
they wanted
bands
to
are
be-
dropping. all
Right,
these
it
bands
started
are
off like
dropping-
it could be good.
They're all dropping new singles right now because the
You know,
summer
Yeah.
concert season's coming.
Yeah.
So they're all trying to,
Right.
when you leave
I
that.
did have something to say about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, like when when
The
they're all
floor is
leaving
yours,
the stadium, wherever they're playing, they all want to. It's such an impulse buy to buy these CDs. I saw this Def Leppard, Joan Jett, Poison, and Motley Crue show over the summer at Rogers Center here in Toronto, and leaving the stadium was like number one, there were 68,000 people there, and
Oh my
just
God.
leaving the stadium,
Yeah.
every like it must have been like every 100 feet there was a merch stand, and they were selling like $50 T-shirts that are made in China for $1.99,
Right.
and
You're right.
CDs, like new CDs. And I go,
Oh, you're right about that.
who plays CDs anymore? It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's an impulse buy, let me pick up the new CD,
Yeah. You're totally right about that because when I went to see Falling in Reverse in Detroit, like I said, when I got locked out and I fucking had to wait for the girlfriend, Mark, I got locked out of the venue. I should have fucking called you. I was fucking pissed. I had to sit outside in the cold for like 20 minutes while she's getting railed by the whole band. Yeah, but their merch setup, right? Their t-shirts, and I would say the dude spent $2 on making them. But they had lines like all the way back to the whole club, and that's a small venue, St. Andrews Hall, right? Compared to like what Metallica's doing.
Yeah, merch is a big component to any band's tour. Also, for a tour like Live Nation, I mean, they bought a company called Epic Rights, run by a guy named Del Ferrano, who I know. We both share the same lawyer, and they got bought by Live Nation to have this internal merch machine actually built in to the tours, so they don't have to rely on outside people coming in and controlling that portion of the deal, like when they're all leaving and when they're all coming in, because they
Yeah,
make a
that's
fortune
where
on
it's
it.
at,
They make an
merch.
absolute fortune on it.
You know who's did you see they're doing the Jeff Beck tribute with Eric Clapton, Johnny Depp,
Yeah, that's gonna be
ZZ
awesome.
Top, the Allman Brothers. and,
Great.
That's gonna be great. They're also doing the Jeff Beck tribute in Cleveland. The blues giant Butch Armstrong's doing it. Have you ever heard of Butch Armstrong? He's a blues guitar player.
I have heard of Butch Armstrong, yeah, and I
He
saw
wins the,
Jeff Beck at the Fillmore East in New York City
Man,
in
that's fucking awesome.
1972.
You know,
Wow.
at this point, let me introduce Mark Berry because I don't think I gave you the rightful introduction that I should have. While we're in the news, but this is Mark Berry, the AMG Group,
Great to meet
produced.
you guys.
You too.
Started off as a studio engineer, right? Worked your way up.
Worked my way
Tell us
up.
the story.
Started as an engineer, luckiest kid in the world. I got a job with Sir George Martin, who produced all the Beatle records, and I worked at Air Studios for roughly 2 years. And then one of the first sessions I did was the Live and Let Die soundtrack with Paul McCartney and Wings. And then
God.
they used to put me with a lot of the American clients that came through the studio, and they put me with a girl named Carly Simon, and I recorded a record called You're So Vain, which was my first credited recording engineer.
Wow.
This guy's cool.
Yeah, he's cool as fuck. He produced our album. You came to remember Rob arranged the arrangements, and you came to Cleveland. We recorded in North Royalton. I believe we did our whole album in a week. You came to the
What
restaurant.
was the studio? What was the studio we did?
Man, the Greek Isles, maybe Pegasus or the Greek Isles. It was some Greek type of name. I'm gonna get all emotional, but you helped me in the vocal room. I remember when I did my vocals. It was just me with a thing of tea, hot tea, to keep my voice fresh. But yeah, very cool. I mean, he produced like Joan Jett and Duran and all those great bands, man.
Awesome.
And so, can you tell the guys, because we don't have our super long show, can you tell the guys what you do now?
So
what
right
AMG
now,
is.
I run and own a company called AMG. I'm the chairman and founder, And AMG is a music, film, and television company. So um, we have an extensive music publishing catalog. BMG Music bought 50% of two of my publishing divisions several years ago. So we enjoy that great relationship. We have a record label distribution deal through a division of Sony Music. And then we have a label services division. So clients come to us with completed masters. They have no distribution, no promo, no marketing. No, they don't know what they're doing. They walk in the door and they still think they could sell CDs and make money. So we have to explain to them that we can do Spotify playlisting, we can do digital internet radio, we can put songs in movies, TV shows, video games, advertisements, movie trailers, um, which we do an extensive amount of. We just finished the new Mel Gibson film, Bandit. We were music supervisors on that. And then
Sick.
right now we're doing the Sacrifice Game for the Shudder channel, part of the AMC company. And yeah, we put out movies as well. We have a film distribution deal. People come to us, they have partially funded films. We go secure additional financing and funding for them, and then we secure the music position in the film where we're the music supervisors. And obviously, we want to put as much music from our clients into that particular movie or TV show that we're working on. And that's what AMG is. It's basically it's a full label services film division. The first film we put out was the Drake film, Homecoming, and we did that about 6-7 years ago. We did a deal with the AMC theater chain. We did about 1,400 theaters worldwide over 2 nights, and it was very successful for us. And that kind of got us into the business of picking up either partially funded films and or completed films that have no distribution outlet. We go through a company called Factory Film here in Toronto. We service over 150 DSPs, digital service platforms. We do the world's airlines with SpaFax, and we do a hotel VOD, AVOD, and the subscription model SVOD as well.
That's great, Mark. You know who's listening tonight is I gotta say her name correctly, but she signed to AMG. Carla Lynette Harris.
Carla Lynette Harris, absolutely a great writer, great
Yeah,
singer.
she's listening.
Yeah, we did a publishing deal with Carla, and we control probably about 30 of her songs, which we pitch out for film, television, video games, advertisements, movie trailers. You know, wherever we can generate third-party revenue for.
And Mark, I have a question. Did you produce any of her songs?
No, I didn't. She pitched me. We met on Facebook and or LinkedIn, I'm not sure. And then she started pitching me songs, and I thought, oh, these are really good. She's a great singer.
Yeah, she's
great,
really good.
great,
like
great knack for writing a song. And I said,
She's
what are you
great
doing with
looking
this song?
too. She's hot. She's
Yeah,
hot.
great.
She's got the rock look. I mean, yeah. I looked through all her photos.
They call that marketability.
I'm gonna start stuttering. No, look through all her photos. Like a menace, but yeah, I was looking through all of them. She's like, pick whatever one you want to use on your show. She's gonna come on the show.
Great, great, absolutely.
Yeah,
Tell Carla I said, oh,
it was total chance. I met her. She just wrote me, and she's like, I like your page, and I was like, AMG. I was like, holy fuck, Mark, and yeah, I was like, you got to come on my show. So yeah, she's in the UK, and she's listening tonight. And
we're actively seeking
hello.
writers like Carla internationally. They're making these great songs. They're sitting on them. They have no outlet for them, and AMG can come along and help start to create value. I mean, the whole business today operates on a what's called a 4-to-1 business model. So if you come to me and say, Mark, get me $1 million in the business, I'll say, Jeff, no problem, I'll get you the $1 million. You got to show me $4 million of receipts over the previous 2 years, and they'll gladly give you $1 million, because that $1 million is safe in a pipeline of $4 million. And that's just how the business has evolved and changed. And 30 years ago, I signed a band here in Canada called I Mother Earth, and
they're awesome.
Yeah, they are
phenomenal
awesome.
phenomenal band. So I discovered them in a nightclub here in Toronto called the Gasworks. Put a really cool deal together. We got a $500,000 publishing advance, got a $1.5 million record deal between EMI Canada and EMI LA. So it's like a $2 million, and they hadn't sold one record. Like that's unheard of today. Unheard
Yeah.
of. They want the ball at the 50-yard line. Period.
No, I get that. Yeah, everything you're saying is really spot on. Like a lot of musicians don't know this stuff, and that's why this show is really cool.
Yeah, they're clueless.
it-
They're really clueless.
right, and a lot of people don't know that the music business has become a singles game where
Absolutely.
nobody's releasing albums anymore.
Yeah.
It's all
what we-
singles.
that's what we've been doing. It is interesting to see how much the industry has changed. Like I've heard of people trying to make their labels like banks. So they essentially take in the revenue and they use that for liquidity they'll invest
Right.
it into like the stock market and stuff to have extra money.
It's like a mutual
Right.
fund.
It's
Mark, do you
crazy.
invest your money in the market that way?
Not in the market, no.
Yeah,
I invested
right now.
Don't worry,
I
I
invested in
$1
music
billion.
publishing. Music publishing, right? That's
That's
the
great.
safest
Yeah, you're
bet.
right.
It's long term. We just put a song in a European car ad, generated 175,000 euros just for
Isn't that
Europe
amazing?
on a 1-year term. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
Cool.
You know, I
And
would just
recurring
like to do
revenue
one.
all the way around. You know, when they put a song in a Netflix series or a movie, and they play that movie on Netflix or Amazon Prime 5 years from now, let's say in South Africa, wherever, I'm still generating revenue for my clients.
Right.
Right. Was it 17 years, right? Is the length
Yeah.
that you get royalties from?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
why I know
great.
that. That's just some knowledge that I
So,
have.
Mark, when you produce those bands like Carly Simon and Billy Idol and Duran Duran, do you have any
Yeah.
crazy stories from those sessions? I mean, what's the
Crazy
craziest thing that you think that you ever came across with being with those
Well,
bands?
Well, you got to remember when I started working at Air Studios, I was 18. I was just out of high school. I didn't want to go to Vietnam, right? It was 1972. My biggest fear was going to Vietnam. You know, every night after dinner, we go downstairs in the family den. We'd watch Walter Cronkite. Remember him, the most trusted name in news, you
Right.
know. And all you saw were body bags coming off the airplanes every night, every night.
Most
So,
trusted name in industry. That's what it
Yep.
was.
yeah.
In the
And
industry.
I didn't. I looked at my mom and dad. They're going to grab me without a doubt. They're going to grab me, right? I'm going to get drafted. So okay, what do you want to do? So I liked engineering and sound, and I was always into music. So I went to the Institute of Audio Research in Manhattan at night while I was still going to high school. So I was 16 years old, going into Manhattan at night, going to
Wow.
the Institute of Audio Research down by NYU on 64 University Place by Washington Square Park, and did 2 years there. And then graduated from high school at the same time. Graduated from there. The next day after I graduated from high school, I was on a plane to London, England. Pounded the streets of London, England for 2 weeks. Wrote all my favorite studios from made my favorite records. You know, from Elton John, he worked at Trident. From Led Zeppelin, they worked at Olympic, and you know, just pounded on doors. That's what I did, and I did that for 2 weeks, and then the luckiest kid in the world, I got a job with Sir George Martin at Air Studios. Just I went into the studio and the studio manager wasn't there, so I said come back tomorrow. So I came back the next day, and then this long-haired English kid, young kid, coming down the long corridor at Air Studio. He goes, yeah, can I help you? Can I help you? And I said, yeah, I'm here for Joyce Moore. She was the manager. Oh, Joyce isn't here, you know. He goes, where are you from? I said, oh, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from New York. Oh, you're from New York City. Oh my God, I love New York. Yeah, come
Nice.
on in. And he invites me in. So I walk in, and the session that was being worked on was, remember Alan Clark from the Hollies? Long, cool woman in a black dress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were doing a record with Alan Clark and Dee Murray, the bass player for Elton John, was on bass, and Nigel Olsson was on drums, and just like this cast of Brinson Schwartz was also a drummer playing there, and I just kind of hung out for the day, right? I just kind of hung out there, you know.
It is
And,
awesome.
and they liked me. Joyce came to me and said, "Hey, you know, everyone really likes you," and I was a great gopher. You know, you need a pack of smokes, I'll go down there. Yeah, you need a coffee, I'll go get a coffee for you. You know?
What's the craziest thing they ever sent you to get
Craziest
without
thing.
giving it all away. 10
Well,
pounds of heroin.
If you guys are nice to me tonight, I'll tell you who You're So Vain's about.
Really? I like that. All right, so
So
Mark,
anyway, that's my wild story.
I love that.
Working with they used to put me with a lot of the American clients, and they put me with Carly Simon. It was Carly's from New York. I'm from New York, and Carly's started recording this record in LA, brought it to London, and we started working on the record. I was there for about 3 weeks working on the record, just doing vocals and overdubs and some of the Jim Gordon, who really just died a few days ago, the phenomenal drummer. He just died, and he was the drummer.
So
for the
many.
session. And so I started doing these sessions, and one night in walks Harry Nilsson with Mick Jagger, and Harry Nilsson's. Do you remember the Nilsson Schmilsson record? I can't live if living is without you. Single.
Yeah, I know that song.
So Richard Perry, who produced Carly Simon, also produced the Nilsson Schmilsson album. So in they come, and they're both fucking hammered, just hammered. And Harry was originally going to sing backgrounds on the song, and then Harry, we couldn't wake him up. He passed out in the lobby, and we said, okay, Mick, you're up. I don't know if you know this, but Mick sings backgrounds on You're So Vain.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now that I've told you this, when you listen to the song again,
You have to listen. You'll be able to
listen
pick
to
it
the
out probably.
second chorus onward, you'll hear Mick's voice come in,
Wow.
which kind of created
I didn't know
whole
that.
mystique. The whole mystique about who the song. Well, he wasn't credited as a singer on the song, just because of contractual issues, but it kind of created this whole mystique about You're So Vain and who's it about, because they go, oh, is that Mick Jagger? I think Mick Jagger's voice is in there, but I can't see his name on the record.
Wow,
and
that's
that kind of
awesome.
created this whole mystique. So
I'm definitely gonna do that. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break, Mark.
Sure.
When we do so, what I want to do is I want to play Redemption by Conniption Fit, the guys that are with us tonight.
Yeah.
And take a listen to it. I think it's fucking phenomenal. And listen to this song. It's great.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Great.
Let's go to break, Satan. Are we back saying that was fucking great? Hey, Mark, I want to ask you a couple things that I saw in the news and see what you think about it. And then what I'd like you to do is stay with us because we're going to do a segment called Bad Mug. Can't speak. Bad Tattoos, Mug Shots, and Haircuts. And I would love for you to see these because they're hilarious. But here's the rumors I wanted to ask you about. And I got to put on my glasses to see them. And yeah, Doug and Frank, I have to wear glasses because I'm getting older. So I heard these two.
Join the club, buddy. Join the club.
Yeah, it all happened after 40. Like my body started to hurt, and then I had to get glasses. So I heard these two rumors, and I want to ask you what you think. So Megadeth's Dave Ellefson, I think he's the bass player, or he was, said that Diamond David Lee Roth was a fucking lunatic. Do you have any comment on that?
You know,
and Mark Berry cannot be held responsible for anything he says on the radio about anything that he has a thought of. Okay.
I had heard the same thing, that he was an absolute raving lunatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
That's
like out of his mind. He was out of his mind. He had severe drinking issues, and
wow,
just anything goes, guys. You know,
do you think that night that he cut the tip of his nose off was when he was in, I think it was New York City, which, you know, I have mixed emotions about New York City because they're stealing that Rock Hall show. But do you think the night he cut the tip of his nose off was because he was drunk? When he's, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, that guy's hammered.
I mean, come on, nobody wakes up one day and says, "I'm going to cut my nose off." Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm Diamond David Lee Roth.
You know, I always saw Dave as a cokehead.
I never liked him. I like Sammy Hagar way more.
It was alcohol. It was drugs. It was just complete abuse of everything.
Anything he could get his hands on, probably
like tons of cocaine and hookers. I bet.
Yeah, just out of his mind.
I think the best song he ever wrote was "Ice Cream Man." I don't know if he wrote that or if Van Halen wrote that. But,
I don't know who wrote it.
Yeah. So speaking of Van Halen, here's another rumor I wanted to ask you about. Joe Satriani said there is no plan to do a Van Halen tribute show, and that's in regards to what's the drummer's name? Alex Van Halen, or
right. Yeah, I mean, who's left in the band? Who's left?
Well, Michael Anthony's not in the band anymore because they kicked him out for his son, Wolfgang. Right. I remember when they toured.
Right.
But it should be, it should be. Well, let's be honest. It should be David Lee Roth, Michael Anthony. It should be probably Joe Satriani guitar, and and then the drummer Alex Van Halen.
Alex Van Halen, yeah.
But I think Joe Satriani would probably be the best guy to pull off Eddie Van Halen. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's amazing. You guys ever listen to that?
Similar guitar styles.
Fucking
same edgy, very articulate on the notes.
Similar tone. That really tubular mid range.
Right.
That's a great call, actually. Joe Satriani.
Must be nice to have all that great pool of musicians to pull from.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's like, oh, who do we have? Amazing person number one.
Remember Crossroads with Ralph Macchio? That was amazing.
That was amazing, dude. Ry Cooder was a fantastic guitar player, man.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, oh, Steve Vai. Yeah, but Ry did all the like crazy stuff. It was all slide.
Ry Cooder.
I mean, the harmonics were ridiculous. You know,
I like Ry Cooder.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I heard this rumor that the Who might release another album. What do you think?
I heard the same rumor. Absolutely.
Yeah. Think that's true? I think it'd be really cool. I'd be interested to hear what they would sing about. I think that'd be awesome. All right, here's another one. Gene Simmons is trying to push Kiss into doing the residency in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
you think that's true?
Gene's a fucking gunny, so I mean,
Gene Simmons. I talked about him the other night. I think he sold his soul to Satan.
Anything goes. Anything goes.
No, you gave it to my son.
He has. They say he has like the biggest tongue in rock. Here's a funny thing that I saw. The man with the world's longest tongue breaks the Jenga record. And interesting fact, the man has never had a girlfriend, so it means he's never put that tongue to use. Never. Girls out there are like, oh, I gotta find this guy. So all right, so I heard that, and then I heard a rumor that Slash said that Guns N' Roses is going to release new material. No, I can't speak. Material in 2023, which are going to be singles, right? They're going to start putting out singles.
Yeah, they have to put out singles. Nobody's interested in an album anymore. And besides, when it gets into Spotify, you don't want one song having 5 million streams and then the rest of the songs on the album
Right.
all under 1,000 because nobody gives a fuck.
Do you think that Guns N' Roses, obviously they'd put the music out to stream, but do you think they would do that thing where they would put an album out where they would sell the artwork and all that shit, you know, for extra money?
Yeah, they would definitely.
That's
put an
probably
album
like
out.
merch, right?
Yeah, they would release a single first, and then they would
Right.
put an album out, which I would recommend they not.
What do
Well,
you
nobody
think
gives
the
a-
album's going to sound like?
Well, if they get the team back together, who did all the original recordings from the engineer and the producer,
Yeah.
then it
Mike
could sound,
Klink.
yeah, Mike Klink, phenomenal.
Yeah. Mike Klink had a sound to him where it was just raw rock. I mean, he didn't do a lot of overproducing. I mean, I think later they kind of pushed him towards that, but yeah. And then I can't remember Use Your Illusion. Who produced Use Your Illusion? Do you know?
I thought that was Klink.
Was it Klink again?
Yeah.
I'm surprised with that. It's just so orchestrated, but yeah, I don't know what Guns N' Roses sound like. I mean, is there anything to be pissed off about anymore? I mean,
No,
they're making
no.
millions. $200 million. You can't be
Exactly.
mad.
Yeah, I mean the catalog's got to be worth a small fortune every year.
Yeah.
Just in
I always hear
sales.
about these bands that are selling their catalogs.
I mean,
Like Justin Bieber sold his
do you-
catalog. I mean, like,
Do you think they would produce it themselves? I mean, it's like that's
Huh.
like what everybody's doing now. I mean, like,
If they're
do you think so,
smart-
Mark?
If they're smart, they'll pay for it themselves. Well, where they own the master recording.
right? Yeah, that's
because there's a big bone of contention now going on in the business with these artists that were financed by a record label, the traditional business model, right?
Mhm.
And then they go put a song in a movie and they get 200 grand. So originally that 200 grand for that one song in that movie, 10% of a movie's budget is music. Okay, so if they're shooting a $30 million movie, they're going to spend $3 million on music, and they're going to get a Guns N' Roses track, and they're going to drop, I don't know, 200, 250, maybe 300 on the track, on one of the higher popular ones. 50% of that goes to Geffen Records. Why? Because they paid for the master,
Right.
and they're recouping money that they advanced to the band. The other 50% goes to the music publishing company, who's recouping money that they gave them when they were popular. If I said, okay, here's $40 million, back in the day when their records were exploding, and that's the issue today, is that all these bands, shit, for a couple $100 grand on my own, I could go in and finance the recording myself. I don't need to take money from a record label and throw it into the pot that I still haven't recouped on yet.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, back in the day, they paid for the recording, the music videos, the producer, the engineer, the remix engineer, the videos, tour support. It was like this. They were a bank, literally a bank.
Right.
We need $5 million. We're going on tour. Okay, great. Here's $5 million. No problem.
And I can tell you, as a local band, we try to do everything, as much as, from getting paid from shows, we always try to be in the black. We've been approached by a couple different record companies, and we're nervous to do it because once you do, they, kind of
own like everything.
Control everything.
You're better off doing it yourself, financing it yourself. It's not that much money to record a record today.
And
but back in the day, when you went into Electric Lady or the record plant, I mean, you were spending $5,000, $6,000 a day just in studio time.
Well, now everybody has computers.
Yeah.
They have,
And
I mean, you could sit at home and do BandLab and then take those tracks to
I'll
your
never
studio and be like, hey, let's go with this.
I'll never forget from going. I recorded with Paul Hammond out at Suma Studios, and it was really different going from his, analog console until when we got our own DAW. And then we started doing, I was like, man, the clarity on our stuff is way better than the old analog stuff. And then not with that, with everybody having their own DAW, there's just this oversaturation of people putting out stuff. And the worst part about it is they don't either, they either don't know how to compose a song or put it together right, or they don't understand key structure, or they don't want to harmonize, or they don't want to follow the meter and stuff.
I agree. I agree 100%. Back in the day, when you were recording an album and you did it analog, okay, you had that one LA2A. Why? Because it cost $6 grand, $7 grand. You only had one. Okay, and what did you use it on? You put it on the lead vocal.
Yeah,
because,
right.
And then made a nice creamy. You could get it on top of the mix. And you had the LA4A, you had the LA2A, you had the AMS sampler, Pultec EQs. Now where you would put those on just one item on a 16, 24 track mix back in the day. Now that Pultec EQ is across the 128 tracks because it's simply a plug-in. So,
oh man, that's a great thing.
Nothing sounds the same to me. It all sounds the same to me. There's no difference in like you listen to a Led Zeppelin recording. Like I can pick out what they used.
Right.
You can and you can feel the depth of the music as well. It seems like a lot of stuff now, because it is digitized, it doesn't feel like it has.
We were talking about Avenged Sevenfold's new album, and we were like, "Yeah, is that a stock keyboard? What is that?" It sounds like
that's interesting you say that, guys, because back in the day when we recorded music in the studio, we would record it at a standard called +6. So we were lining up to 0, but it was actually +6, bringing it back to 0. So you were embedding the tape with more level and sound. So it was coming back louder off of the tape. And that was just a little trick that we used, And we did the same thing on mixing. We recorded a +3 maybe on the mix.
On analog, you can do that. Actually, you want to do that. You want to push the mic pre's a little bit. It gives you that like warmth and depth. But like the problem with everything's digital now. Digital, if you clip that digital mix, it sounds like
right. And you got to give a ton
horrible.
You got to get a ton of headroom too.
Yeah,
it's like
compress the shit out of it. I mean,
I think in the future
I've
you're
been
going to
using
start
the VST,
seeing
the VST, the CLA vocals on anything that I'm doing, and it's nice because it already has that pre-comp on it, so you do have the headroom for later in the mix when you're doing it.
Well, I think as we progress more too with music, we're going to start seeing where the more technology is going to come forward. We're going to be able to like compress. We're not going to have those peaks that we're seeing now. I mean, think about where we've come from. Like Mark said, tape, analog, to where we are now. And Mark, you won't believe this, but we're almost done with the show. We've been talking this whole time.
What do you think about the oversaturation in the market?
I hate it.
Yeah,
absolutely hate it. I think there's no like I listen to recordings now and I can't identify anything in the recording. Like, did they use a Pultec on that? Did they use an AMS? Did on it? What did they? Was that done on a Neve board? Like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like even as an engineer, and like I got an extensive engineering and mixing background, I never followed the digital curve as an engineer, right? Because there were engineers out there that did it actually better than I could, right? Because my ears, I just couldn't get used to. What you're going to use that LA2A on 14 tracks? Are you out of your fucking mind?
What's weird too is like the older stuff too. Well, not. I mean, I don't want to say too old, but like, was it the SSL board? I think Butch Vig used it on the Nevermind album.
Yeah.
I mean, that console is so like just well known, and I think there's only a few in existence.
Yeah, they don't even use solid state logic anymore. I mean, it's almost every studio that anybody can afford to go to anymore, unless you're going out to LA and paying crazy big bucks. It's all digital. I mean, these guys got a Presonus, they got the digital station workstation for Pro Tools. We use a Focusrite. I mean, and they're pretty affordable systems. And like, if you didn't tell somebody that you did it with this digital interface and a bunch of plugins in a free DAW, nobody'd know the difference, because in the end, it's in a stereo mixed down mastered track. It sounds pretty fucking good.
Yeah, you're right.
And the worst,
right.
I think the hardest thing for me is that the lack of willingness to experiment and come up with something new. You know, there used to be innovative bands out there that would try different things, and now everybody's like
cookie cutter.
Now they want to
Yeah.
be the cookie cutter things. So,
The
like
stock.
I'm a huge fan of this
Right.
band called Dog Fashion Disco.
Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
band. That's
they
good.
play all sorts of different stuff. They can play every single genre. They go out, they try different things, and when I hear other bands, it's always the basic formula: the verse, chorus, bridge,
Right.
chorus, and then
Yeah, we
out.
talked about that earlier.
And I know that that's a winning formula. I
Yeah,
get it.
Here's a quick story for you guys. The night we did the You're So Vain with Mick Jagger, we woke up Harry Nilsson. We all just 3 a.m. We all jumped in a cab and we went to Olympic Studios in London, where the Stones, Andy Johns, was mixing the live '72 tour tapes. Okay.
Wow.
So here I am, I'm 18 years old. I'm just hanging out with these guys, and I'm just enamored. I said, oh my God, I'm in Olympic Studio. So I go outside downstairs where the studio is, the actual recording space. And I'm in the space and I'm looking at this drum setup that is on 4-foot risers off the ground. And there's microphones like underneath the risers. And the Olympic Studios was an old barn. And they have microphones up in the rafters and everything. And I'm 18 years old. I'm looking at this. Wow, this is like a really unusual miking technique. It's like, so I go upstairs to Andy Johns and we're just talking and bullshitting and said, yeah, by the way, that's a great drum setup out there. Who's it? What's happening with that? He goes, oh, that's John Bonham's drum
Nice.
setup and Led Zeppelin's recording here.
Oh, you were there, right next to his drums.
Wow.
So it's fucking.
And I'm
great.
looking at it, I'm going, holy shit! No wonder that's how they get that sound.
That's fucking great.
It's on 4 feet off the ground. The ambiance of the room. And then you have mics underneath where you get the boom,
Right.
and it's like, oh my God.
Is that where you got that sound from When the Levee Breaks, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that's what I'm saying. It does feel like everybody is just trying. It almost feels like everybody's trying to be the same. It's
And
like
in actuality, a lot of bands are. You take a band like Periphery, who has that particular kind
That's
of
a good band, by the
mathy
way.
gent style. It's very rhythmic and very low tune guitars and tight and everything. And like there's a whole like era of bands, especially in the local and regional section, where they all are trying to duplicate that in their own way. And it's like, but in a simpler, watered down version. And it's like, man, why would you not want to be an innovator and do your own thing and be original and just express yourself in a way that is really you? Well, I think it's because they know that works. So if maybe we can ride the coattails of what they're doing, maybe somebody will pick us up, and we're just like, I'd rather do my own thing and hope people like it.
A lot harder to blaze your own trail because you
Absolutely.
need the
That's
fire
true.
to do it.
Yep.
Well, Jeff,
Listen, guys,
you should connect us with the guys, and maybe I can help you guys with some film and TV.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
After the show tonight, I'm gonna give them your information. I'll have them write you,
Absolutely.
and you guys could
Absolutely.
talk on your own. Because
I'd
I
love to
know
help.
they have more questions for you. We're running out of time. We just kept going and going. We didn't do
Yeah,
the
I
mug
get it.
shot,
I
we
get
didn't do
it.
the hot
No
chicken
problem.
week, but fuck them. And we have a ton of comments from a lot of haters. But
Hey, thank you, Sparrow.
Yeah.
The last one. That's the first nice comment all night. I appreciate it.
Lisa gave us some nice ones. She's our GM and she watched the show. Now I'm sure she's gonna have some pointers for me. But thank you so much, Mark Berry.
It's a pleasure to
We
meet
need
you.
to
Pleasure,
talk
guys.
more.
Great to meet you guys.
Who was trying to stop them?
Yeah, Nicole. Yeah.
And,
Satan, thank you very much.
And two, if
Thank
you
you.
need some film work, I own my own media company as well. So
Yeah,
if
that's
you need
cool.
any kind of film stuff out here,
Absolutely.
So
Let's
Satan, can
connect
we
outside of the show, and we can
All right.
definitely synergies between us for sure.
Definitely
sure.
awesome.
Satan,
It's a
lead
pleasure
us
to meet you,
out, all
Mark.
right?
pleasure.
Thank you so much,
you.
Mark. Thank you, Connection.
guys.
Thank
It
you,
was
man.
a fun show. I
Take care.
had a
Absolutely.
good time. See you guys
I
next
enjoyed it.
week.
Thanks for having
Okay,
me.
Local
bye-bye.
and go yourself, Doug.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Good night, Mark.
Take care, guys.
Man, that was fucking